Hi guys, I am back, this time with my dies. So if you remember, I did talk about these dies in a video. I got them as a set. I got these dies. They came with all of these dies. And I'm going to show you how each of them cut out on paper. This is the embossing mat. I'm going to show you how they recommend that you send them through the Cuttlebug, and then I'll show you how I do it. And these are the folders. There's 4 folders, and I had showed you these before. And this set of folders is just called the Lace Trimmings set. This is the information if you're interested. On HSN, this combination is the folders and the dies. And it sounds like I'm really selling this stuff, but I'm just excited that I found it. And if you're a lover of Anna Griffin's stuff, there I go giving her a new name. But if you really like her stuff, I'm only sharing because I like it. And if you like it, just so you know where to get it. Okay? So I'm not, I don't get any perks whatsoever. So I probably should. But I just wanted to give you the information. So the number is on here. The set was number 314-416. It's embossing folders and dies called the Lace Trimmings set. Okay? Only sharing. And if you remember, these folders were just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, just gorgeous. There's 4 of the small ones along with the border folders, and then 4 large ones along with the borders on that. And I'm going to show you how these little borders go with these dies also. This again will probably have to be more than a 1-part video. So it's a kind of a continuation. I showed some of the other folders I had gotten in another video just before this one. So this one is all about the dies pretty much. And then I'm going to show you how the dies and the folders work together. Now, I have heard several reviews where people were having issues getting a nice clean cut with these dies. They are very detailed dies. And I'm going to tell you what I'm doing to get a nice cut. I'll show you first how they recommend that you send this through. Now I have the Cuttlebug C plate, but we're not going to use that for the moment. I am going to use some cardstock that I got just to practice with this. This cardstock is not very heavy. I think it's roughly a 65-pound weight, and it's slightly textured. I don't know if you can see the texture on it, but we're going to play with this one first. I'm going to take one of the more detailed dies just to give you an idea of what happens here. Now, their recommendation is to use the A plate, put the mat underneath, use your B plate, okay, put your die down, ridge side up, that's the part that's going to cut, put your paper down over the die, and then use the other B plate. Okay, so that's their recommendation, is to put that mat underneath. So we're going to run that through, and it's hard to go through, but with this paper, it's probably going to give me a pretty good cut. Now, there's my cut. I can see that it didn't cut in all of the areas, but I think when I go through to emboss it, we're going to get the rest of that. So all I did was took the mat from underneath the plate. Now I'm going to put it over the die without taking anything off. And I'm going to run it through. This is what embosses. And also it kind of helps finish that cut. And so I'm going to run it back and forth a couple times just to make sure we get a good cut. Now I'm going to set this just to the side. Let's see what we have. Now I told you that was about a 65, and you see that lifted off no problem. About a 65-pound cardstock. I also have this neat little gadget here. This is the made by Spellbinders. It's called the Tool-in-One. The creator of the tool is Cindy Eckenow, which is a licensed Spellbinder die creator, and she also makes tools. And so if you see all of these cuts here, I'm going to rub this over. It has bristles that are very stiff, almost like needles. Rub that over my die. That's going to help the die come out, as well as all of those pieces that you would normally have to pick out with a, pointy tool. So now you see that all came out. There's one piece here. Now here's what happens sometimes. Now this was not a very heavy cardstock. It did a pretty good cut, however, except for right here. If you can see right there, that little edge right there is hanging on. It did cut, but not all the way through. So what, if I'm trying to make sure to save this piece, what I do is get my fussy cut scissors out, and I just finish that cut by myself. Now that's usable. So that is how I would do it. If I had several pieces that didn't cut like that, I would not worry with it. But I had one little edge that didn't cut well, and I just took my fussy cut scissors, these little fine tip scissors, and I just cut the rest of it out, and there you have a piece that is totally usable. That's a fairly lightweight cardstock. It had some texture to it, but I got a beautiful cut. Anyway, I'm going to run through another intricate die here. Now that is their way. That way worked fine on this paper and on that particular die. So let's try it again with another one. So I am going to use this die, which is a larger one. It's pretty intricate. And I'm going to put my A plate down. Go ahead and put my mat down. Put one of my B plates down. And guys, I know most of you have probably already used these, and so you know when you hear that crackling sound of the paper being cut through these, that is really not unusual, and it's not a problem at all for the machine. It's simply the process of it cutting the paper, so it's no big deal. So I'm going to run this one through and see what we get, okay? And you hear the cracking sound. It's tough going through. It takes a little muscle. I'm going to actually run it back through again. So I ran that through twice by running it backwards and forward. So the outside came out no problem. Now to emboss this piece, we're going to leave the die there. And it looks like everything cut that time. Going to put the see, the problem with running it through, sometimes the paper shifts and you get these little edges like this. Let's see what happens when we run this through again. So I'm going to run it through to emboss the image. And again, I did it twice. Let's see what we get. I'm going to use my 2-in-1 to get all those pieces out. I love this tool. I love it. It's the best thing since dies, actually, I think. Let's see what we get here. A perfect cut. An absolutely perfect cut. You can see the embossed detail. All of the little pieces, most of the little pieces came out, and what didn't, you just go ahead and run the tool over it again. At least you don't have too many you have to really worry about. And see, there you have clean tool, clean die again. So that worked great. Like I said, I was going to do this on camera with you guys, and we'll figure out what happens together. So those two came out absolutely perfect. Remember, on this one, I had a little piece that got, I think in one of these center pieces, that got stuck in there and didn't cut well. But I took my fussy cut scissors and got it out, no problem. This one, all the pieces came out, no problem. A beautiful cut. So that works very well. Now I am going to take a heavier cardstock. I got some heavier pieces just so I would know what works best and see what we get. I'm going to put several dies on this piece. The nice thing, now this is going to be interesting because I've got several pieces here. And actually what I'm doing is laying it down, the ridge side down this time. I don't know if that will make a huge difference in the cut, but we'll see. What you want to make sure is that the mat is right underneath your cardstock. Okay. I'm going to open this again just so it will fasten to my cutting mat. Okay, just making sure everything is on there real good. Now this one I doubt, because I have several pieces on here, I'm going to run it through one time. It's tough. Actually, I need to stand up for this one. Oh, you know what? I'm going to get shifting. My dies are shifting because I'm kind of bumping it around. Trying to optimize my cutting time here. Let's close this and open it again. See if that'll help. Okay, let's see what we get. Oh geez, no, this is probably not going to work well. I'm going to try. Yeah, that's not good. Okay, I'm going to try running through this. I have several dies on there, and we'll see what we get here. Hoping that those dies don't shift on me. I run it through slowly. Okay, I got some shifting, I think. Yeah. And the other thing is I did not get a clean cut. I'm going to run it through again. Okay. Now this particular die, what I've had trouble with is that die coming off. I've had trouble with that one all along, coming off. And I probably didn't do this very well, but what I'm going to do is go ahead and emboss this. I'm going to have to tape this one down. Okay. Okay, so this was a thicker cardstock. As you can see, it did that piece without a problem. Because you have straight edges, it's not very intricate as far as the curves go. That one cut and embossed. This one cut and embossed, as you can see there. And I don't think this one cut all the way through, but let's see. Excuse me, guys. Now this one, on this thicker paper, sorry, got a tickle. This did not give me a clean cut. So you can see there's pieces in there that's just not going to come out. Now I'm going to try this one again by itself. Okay, I'm going to try their method one more time with the A plate, the rubber mat, the B plate, and I'm going to put this die in by itself toward the edge of the machine. I've often heard that the center of these machines, any that you use, is not the place where the rollers cut, as you know, the pressure isn't as good in the center. So I'm doing this one kind of off to the side. So I got a cut, even though I don't think it went all the way through, but I'm going to go ahead, keep it on the side, emboss it, and see what we get. Some of those pieces came right out as I lifted that off. Okay, it worked fine. It really depends on where you're going to put these. There's one little piece in the, two pieces actually. They popped out. So that gave me a nice, even on the heavy cardstock. So, remember with this sheet of paper, in the center, you're not going to get a lot of even pressure, enough pressure to catch everything. So my experiment to try several dies on one sheet of paper was not a good idea. That was not a good idea. But I'm going to try this one through again. And I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try using the C plate on the bottom. I'm going to put my die in. Put my die down. I want to do it on the edge, so let me do it on this side. You can see I've got it on the edge there, kind of. Let me get, I'm really wanting to know how well of a cut can I get from nice heavy cardstock. I would say this cardstock is probably about a 110. As you can tell, it's nice and thick cardstock. I got this at Tuesday Morning. I don't know the name of the manufacturer. So there's sometimes you just have to give it a shot. And it's not easy to find nice heavy color cardstock. So I'm running it through using my C plate on the bottom and my B plate on the top. And as you noticed, I put it right on the edge. And that flipped right through there. So I am going to now to emboss that, I have to take the C plate off. I know this is a lot of switching back and forth, but I have my A plate, my die, the mat, which is the embossing mat, my B plate again. Now this is to emboss. Use my tool-in-one here to get those pieces out. And you get a perfect cut the first time. So what I'm getting at here, I think for one, you can go either way. Here's one that I have a little trouble with. This little sucker, this one here, Whenever I have run that through, it has popped off. Let me try this again. I'm going to run this one through. I want to use the edge, but I want to make sure that I have it all the way under the mat underneath. Let's try this one. Actually, let me flip that. Turn it this way. Paper on top. Let's see if we can get a decent cut out of this one. I ran that through twice. Let's see what happens. Now, it stayed put this time. I'm going to try to emboss it. Let's see if that's going to come out. See, I had trouble with this coming out so easily. It didn't stay in the paper long enough to actually get a good cut. Yeah, that one's a little tricky. That one has been my tough one here. I'm going to give it a shot again. See if I can find another piece. I'm going to give that one a shot again. Putting it on the edge. I think I'm going to try my A plate, my C plate. Actually, let me put it there. A plate, C plate, my paper, and my B plate. Okay. Now see, that wanted to lift up. Now to emboss it, I have to transfer it to the B plate. And let's run it through again. Hopefully this embossing will help it get totally out of that paper. That did it. So see how you have to kind of play around? This time it cut perfect, but using the C plate. So I used the A plate. I'm sorry, yes, the A plate. Sorry. I used the A plate, the C plate. Sorry. C plate. I put my die on the edge there. I'm going to try it again. Put it on the edge. Put my paper down. Put my B plate over that. Let's give it a shot again. See, I get a better cut on this one, but then I have to transfer it to the B plate to emboss it. So I'm sorry, I was doing that off. I get a better cut, but then to emboss it, sorry, I got my pieces everywhere now. I do have to transfer it to the B plate. and run it through with both B plates to get it to emboss. And run it through. See, that at least allows it all to come out. Run my tool in one over. And I get a perfect cut. So it really depends. For one, when you're doing a small intricate die, make sure it's on the edge. Now I'm going to try it